Hey guys, it's LFC Footy Fan here, and here is the season review for 2013-2014 for Liverpool. So here's a quick overview of how the season went. I'll get the crap stuff out of the way and done with first. We were pretty bad in the knockout competitions. We got knocked out in the fifth round of the FA Cup against Arsenal. We lost 2-1. And we did even worse in the Capital One Cup. We were knocked out in the third round against bloody Man United. However, we didn't do too badly in the Premier League. We jumped from 7th to 2nd, obviously. Massive climb. We finished with 84 points. We scored 101 goals. And we were so close to winning the league. It was the most exciting season I've ever witnessed as a Liverpool fan. Now we have the player ratings. These are the scores that I give each Liverpool player out of 10 based on their performance last season in all competitions. The scores are generally very high, and obviously the standout score is Luis Suarez with 9.5. He created 50 goals, scoring 31 and assisting 19. So he had an absolutely unbelievable season. The only reason it's not 10 out of 10 is that he didn't score against Arsenal, Chelsea or Man City. He didn't score that massive goal that could have won us the title. That's the only thing that means it's not a 10 out of 10 for me for Suarez. Only a 9.5, not too bad though, I don't think. Obviously Sturridge with a 9 and Gerrard with a 9. They both had brilliant seasons. Sturridge played 33 games, scored 25 and assisted 8. Gerrard managed 13 goals and 14 assists. Some pretty impressive stats there from both players. Raheem Sterling also had a very good season, especially considering he was only 18/19. His influence in the title race was absolutely unbelievable, considering his age. Philippe Coutinho had a good season, not an amazing season if I'm honest. That's why I've given him a 7. He still managed to score some big goals, especially that cracking finish against Man City in the unbelievable 3-2 win. Jordan Henderson, fantastic season. He may not have been that influential in terms of goals and assists, but my word, his work rate and his importance to the team, they could not be questioned, and we saw that towards the end of the season when he missed those 3 games, and that could have been the difference between us winning the title and just missing out in the end. Martin Skrtel was the best defender for me last season. He was formidable defensively, and he even scored 7 goals, including strikes against City, Chelsea and Arsenal, which were massive for our season. Glenn Johnson I felt was unimpressive. Defensively he was susceptible at times, and going forward he didn't provide that same threat that we're used to from England's first choice right back. Young John Flanagan was a surprise package last season. Nobody expected him to be breaking into the starting 11, yet he ended up being the first choice left back in the title race, which was unbelievable for him. Mamadou Sakho had an okay first season in the Premier League, a little bit inconsistent you might say, although he was a late signing. He missed pre-season friendlies, he had never played in English football before, he's still young, so I think we can let him off the hook. Simon Mignolet had a bit of a mixed debut season for Liverpool. He made a penalty save on his debut against Stoke and had 3 consecutive clean sheets. He got off to a flying start. However, he was heavily criticised throughout the season for silly mistakes and an inability to dominate his penalty area. Overall though, I'd say his shot stopping was second to none, and I'm happy to have him in between the sticks at Anfield. Now a look at the player ratings for the substitutes and reserves. Overall, the scores are quite low, and that reflects the lack of quality we had coming off the bench last season. In terms of our attacking options, we were lacking a lot. We lacked a player who was able to come off of the bench and score a winning goal, or just make an impact and change the game. Victor Moses, Aspas and Alberto were all very disappointing for me. João Teixeira wasn't terrible. He came on against Fulham and we ended up winning the game. I thought he played reasonably well. I can only give him 5 out of 10 though, because that was the only time he featured throughout the whole season, although that's understandable given his age. Joe Allen was impressive for me, and probably the most impressive out of all of our fringe players. I thought he was composed, he did his job properly, his fitness was good, he passed well, and I felt comfortable if Gerrard or Henderson were injured. I felt he could do his job in midfield, and he carried himself well. Lucas Leiva didn't have the best of campaigns, thanks in no small part to Steven Gerrard effectively nicking his position as the holding midfielder. Jose Enrique looked impressive in his first couple of games, however, his season was thwarted by injury unfortunately. Ali Sissoko did not look impressive at all. His technical ability wasn't there and he didn't provide much of a threat going forward. He was eventually replaced by John Flanagan at left back. Daniel Agger didn't feature as much as he would have liked to during the season and wasn't an anchor in the defence as he has been for Liverpool over previous years. Kolo Touré didn't do badly, although a few mistakes tarnished an otherwise impressive season in which he featured relatively regularly. And Brad Jones performed reasonably well in the cup competitions, but it's hard to judge a goalkeeper who only gets a few games in one season. Now for the all-important player awards. Obviously these are the most prestigious awards in world football, awarded by myself. The best players last season for me were Suarez, Sturridge and Gerrard, and you might think that I'm focusing too much on the players who scored and created attacks, but at the end of the day last season what carried us so far was our attacking ability, and what let us down was our lack of defensive ability. So the players who scored the goals, created the chances, are the ones who were my top three. Top scorer was obviously Luis Suarez, 31 goals, especially considering he missed the first 5 games. That is mightily impressive. Top assists was also Luis Suarez, amazing for a striker. It shows that he's not just your typical centre forward. He creates goals as well as just scoring them. The best young player for me was Raheem Sterling. I was thinking about giving it to Daniel Sturridge, but Raheem Sterling, at the age of 18 or 19, to have the influence he did was incredible. The most improved player for me was definitely Jordan Henderson. He came on leaps and bounds from last season and ultimately became a very vital part of Liverpool's starting 11. And finally, the award for best signing would have to go to Simon Mignolet for me. Not only because I thought he was an immense shot stopper last season, but look at the competition. Now we look back at the best match of last season. The pick of the bunch for me was the Liverpool thumping of Arsenal 5-1 at Anfield. Unbelievable game. The first 20 minutes of that match were the most satisfying and crazy 20 minutes I've seen. 4-0 against Arsenal inside 20 minutes, that's completely unheard of. And the fact that it could have been more. Suarez hit the post from a corner unbelievably. Kolo Touré missed an open goal. It was insane. And what is very satisfying looking at that is the fact that Luis Suarez did not get a single goal. He had an influence on the game and it might not have been 5-1 without him, but it definitely gives you a lot of hope for life after Louis.